Welcome to another story of the spooky tales. This incident has been shared by my cousin's sister. Listen to this narration, and if you have also experienced any paranormal happening with you, do share with me on this email ID. I will narrate your story to our subscribers in our upcoming videos. Now let's start a real life spooky tale, The Man in the Yellow Raincoat. This story took place during my college years and it still gives me chills when I think about it. Our campus was small and pretty safe. It was late November and finals were approaching. I spent most nights studying at the library, sometimes staying until it closed at 9 p.m. One rainy evening, I decided to leave a bit earlier. The campus was deserted and the only sounds were the rain and the occasional distant laughter from the girls' hostel building. As I walked back to my room, I noticed a man standing under a street lamp wearing a bright yellow raincoat. It struck me as an odd because despite the heavy rain, he wasn't using an umbrella. He just stood there staring down the path. I tried to ignore him and kept walking, but as I passed, I couldn't help but glance at him. He looked up and smiled at me, but there was something off about his smile. It wasn't friendly, it was almost evil, like he was amused by something I wasn't aware of. I quickly averted my eyes and picked up my pace, feeling a growing sense of unease. I kept walking and after a few minutes I glanced back. The man was no longer under the street lamp and he was now walking in the same direction as me, maintaining a steady pace. My heart started to race and I clutched my backpack strap tighter. I told myself it was just a coincidence that he was probably heading home like I was. But something about his behavior felt wrong. I decided to test my theory. I turned down a side path that led to another hostel building, one I had no reason to visit. I walked briskly, keeping my head down. When I looked back, my stomach dropped. The man in the yellow raincoat had also changed direction and was following me, and there was no doubt now he was deliberately trailing me. Panic set in. I pulled out my phone and called my friend Shivali, who lived in the building I was now heading towards. I told her what was happening and asked her to meet me at the entrance. As I approached the building, I saw her waiting for me. I ran the last few steps and quickly explained the situation. We both looked around, but the man was gone. I spent the night at Shivali's room, too scared to walk back to my own building. We talked about what had happened, and Shivali mentioned hearing rumors about a strange man on campus. Some students claimed to have seen him late at night, always wearing the same yellow raincoat. According to the stories, he would follow people and then disappear without a trace. No one knew who he was or why he did it, but it was enough to spook me. The next day, I reported the incident to campus security, but they rejected, saying it was probably just a prank. They promised to look into it, but I could tell they didn't take it seriously. I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, and I became hyper-aware of my surroundings, especially at night. For a while, nothing happened. Then, about a week later, I received a text from an unknown number. It read, "Nice to see you again." My blood ran cold. I hadn't given my number to anyone new, and I had no idea who could have sent it. I showed the message to Shivali and she was just as freaked out as I was. I tried calling the number, but it was disconnected. The messages kept coming, always vague but unsettling. I'm watching you. One read. You can't hide, said another. I blocked the number, but the text continued from different numbers. It felt like a nightmare. I couldn't focus on my studies and I started skipping classes just to avoid walking across campus. I finally decided to move off campus, hoping that would put an end to the harassment. I found a small apartment with a couple of friends and the texts stopped. But I never felt truly safe again. I still don't know who the man in the yellow raincoat was or why he targeted me. Sometimes, late at night, I think I see him in the corner of my eye, just a flash of yellow. It's probably just my imagination, but it doesn't stop the fear from creeping in. To this day, I wonder what would have happened if I hadn't called Shivali that night, or if I hadn't moved off campus. I don't think I will ever have the answers, but one thing is for sure, I will never forget the man in the yellow raincoat. If you really like the story, please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned for such exciting and horrifying spooky tales.